I want to talk about efficiency. And actually, this is the second time I'm starting this video. My first one was interrupted by a call from my wife about dinner plans for tonight. So, had to get that taken care of. But I initially started that video by saying I want to discuss. And the first thing I want to talk about is whether or not discuss is the right word to use. To me, discuss means there's another person on the other side of the conversation and there's an actual conversation. I mean, to me, that's a discussion. Really, what I'm doing in these videos is lecturing. I mean, at the base of it, that's what I'm doing. I'm delivering a bunch of words without any opportunity for response. Of course, after they're uploaded, you're more than welcome to leave comments below them, and I'd be happy to read and respond to those, in which case it does become more of a discussion/conversation. But anyway, I want to talk about efficiency. I view myself as a highly efficient person. I don't like to do one thing at a time if I can do 6 things at a time. Meaning, like, I order my tasks and events in such a way that I can accomplish them without going backward or out of my way to get one of them done. I don't really have a good concrete example because the process changes, but the idea is still the same, that doing something efficiently makes more sense than just doing something to get it done. So if it takes me 20 minutes longer the first time I do something, and that's going to save me time the next 150 times I do it, then I'm going to take that extra 20 minutes or, whatever it happens to be. An example that doesn't necessarily apply to me, but that I will use is when I worked, that one applies to me. Shoot. I'm going to have to think. Usually I try to think while I'm talking, and it doesn't really leave much gap, like dead screen time. But that's not happening right now. I had an example and it left. Yeah, it was in my head and now it's gone. Efficiency, being efficient. How to be more efficient. How to take the time to do something well. Okay, here's one. I scrapped the idea of it not applying to me. I rearrange my classroom often. I move the furniture around, I move the desks around, equipment, all that stuff. I rearrange my garage often, or as often as I can, because the way I use my tools and the way I use my classroom things changes. Or I find like I'm using something else more often than the most readily available thing. Wow, this is really, really boring to talk about. And it's going nowhere. So I'm probably just going to change my train of thought. Efficiency is not nearly a dense enough topic to talk about on one of these. And here we are at almost 4 minutes of basically nothing. How about I just talk about why it's important to be efficient? I don't like to waste time. When I get up in the morning, I've talked even in the last week and a half about how I've gotten up at like 6:50 in hopes of leaving at 7, and how if I didn't have a child or if I weren't married, like that would be a different thing. Like I could definitely do it, because there were times, especially when I was in college, that I would wake up 10 minutes before class, 12 minutes before class, get ready and go. And I wasn't like disheveled when I showed up. Like I knew in my head before I went to sleep at night, and as I'm getting out of bed in the morning, like, okay, what am I going to do first, second, third, and then out the door? Rather than, okay, do one thing, now think about the next, now think about the next. So to me, that's being efficient, and it helps not waste time. It helps make the most of the time that I'm using. Excuse me, I'm very gassy this afternoon. to get something done. So to get up and get dressed and get out the door in 10 minutes is nothing to me, because I am prepared. I know where each of my shirts are in the closet. I know which pair of pants is next in the stack. I know, where my toothbrush is, where my comb is, and I have a system. And I do the same thing every single morning so that I don't have to think about it. My wallet is always in the same place. My keys are always in the same place. So there's no wrenches thrown into that plan. The downside to this is when something does have to change. For example, I had to bring a folder of Ellie's medical information to school because I had to call the insurance company. And I forgot it on Monday. I meant to bring it with me on Monday, and I forgot because it was something new. So I had to tell myself on Tuesday morning, hey, this item needs to come with you, and then I remembered it. I got it taken care of. So that was an adventure. But yeah, for the most part, to me, being efficient is just being prepared. Not necessarily creating something new or reinventing a process or a method, but just being prepared for what comes next. Forward thinking, I suppose, is the synonym that I'll use for my definition of efficiency. And it helps me be less anxious and less stressed, which is why when I was talking about Mary yesterday, going and traveling all these places and being okay with it, that's why I get anxious, because I can't be prepared. I don't know where everything is, how everything's organized, what comes next. So I can't feel relaxed until I do. I put on a brave face. I don't sit at home and do nothing all the time just because I'm afraid of new situations. But when my wife and I went on our honeymoon, we went on a cruise. I had been on a cruise before, but I wasn't the one in charge of planning it and paying for it and packing for it. That wasn't my responsibility. I was younger then, and somebody else was in charge of those things. So, I enjoyed the cruise. I had a great time. But it took a little bit, we had to get to the airport and fly down to Florida, and then we had to find our way to the port, and then we had to find our way to our rooms, and all these things, and navigating new locations and all this stuff is scary to me because I can't be prepared for it. And I feel like I'm going to waste time, and that causes me anxiety and fear. Point of weakness, point of vulnerability here, folks. Hashtag Ben's being vulnerable. It's a long hashtag. But the point is there nonetheless that I get, I don't know. I can't even describe it because it's a feeling that I don't appreciate when I can't be the most highly efficient that I want to be. When I can't accomplish something without planning for the next thing. And it may sound very tiresome to some people, but to me it's normal, and it's comfortable, and it's nice. And I like things to be nice. I like things to be comfortable. So that's, awkward ending, but see you tomorrow.